Hello, everybody at the Grange. Welcome to the first podcast of Chatter Matters. And I'm one of your hosts, Daniel Gannaford.
Sarah Markey.
And
Tom Schliwinski.
thank you, Tom and Sarah. That was very useful for all of our listeners on this wonderful new podcast. So let's move on to the first important news, which will be by Tom.
Open afternoon on the 17th of April. On Wednesday the 17th of April, open afternoon for all parents and family carers new and old. Come and see our skills and activity sessions in action from 1:30pm to 4:30pm. Heritage Day 2019. Saturday 14th September. Discover our heritage as the School of Stitchery and Lace. The Grange Artists at Denby's. 2nd to the 7th of April 2019 at Denby's Vineyard, Dorking. Come and see beautiful creative artworks by artists with learning disabilities at our exhibition.
And now we have got some podcasting sound bites for you to listen to. Right, you gonna say, do you enjoy the woodwork?
Yeah, I enjoy doing woodwork.
Good. Oh, that's good. Right.
It's a wonderful, welcoming place.
The Grange is a place for people to learn and grow in confidence, in living independently and with support. I've recently become a resident here.
Interview with CEO Eloise.
Thank you for finding the time to appear on our podcast.
Thank you very much for inviting me to be your guinea pig on this first ever Grange podcast. It's very exciting but slightly anxious making because I don't know what you're going to ask me.
Well, we are on a tight schedule today, so please can you keep your answers to the point?
Are you telling me I talk too much normally, Tom? How rude!
Well, we are going to keep our podcast quite short because people might nod off.
Yeah, we wouldn't want that. We'll try and keep them lively, shall we, between us? Okay, by telling them interesting stuff. Okay, go for it.
Yeah. On that note, Daniel has a few questions for you.
Well, my first question to you, Eloise, is what exciting things are coming up to the Grange in the future?
Well, it depends whether you mean like in the next couple of months or in the long term, but some of the things I think are really exciting are using new technology more, like you're doing with this podcast, using IT and other ways of other clever software to make our lives less about the paperwork and more about the fun that we can have together. The second is I think we want to do a lot more around creating new sources of income for the Grange. So that might be more about sales. We might develop our own new business lines, a bit like the mini businesses, but a slightly bigger business. So there might be all sorts of opportunities there for people who we support to get jobs and work experience as part of that, which would be great. And then the third thing I thought I'd mention is that there are going to be lots of exciting events and activities. We've got a fashion show coming up, and we've got an open-air concert in the summer, and a health and fitness festival, and all sorts of things going on this year.
Oh, well, thank you for letting us know about that one. Right, here's the second question for you, Eloise. You have introduced chickens and bees to the Grange. What other animals are you going to introduce to this Grange world?
I'm a very big believer that animals are good for people's well-being. We already know that Romeo the cat keeps a lot of people company in residential care too. So I'd like to see more animals. We've made it possible for one of the people who lives off-site, Laura, to have her own puppy in this last year, and we're learning a lot from that experience, because keeping animals is not always as simple as it might sound. But I know that a lot of people here would like to have some little goats or donkeys or possibly rabbits and guinea pigs. So it's a question really of having the help to do that, and I'm going to meet a couple of local colleges who have animal management programs in the hope that their students and staff can get involved and make it possible.
So, there are some people at the Grange who are concerned about what is going on with the Brexit so-called plan, but they would like some insurance of what you think of it, or what?
But I'm not sure what to think of Brexit personally, because it's all such a mess, it seems to me. But we are concerned, particularly for staff from overseas, about because we rely very much on our wonderful support staff who come to us from other countries, and we will do everything we can to look after them and protect them. Our best way to look after them is by working with other care providers, other businesses and charities who've got the same issues, and by working together we can hopefully lobby for things which help those people who might be affected by Brexit. But we will try our very hardest to make sure it doesn't have any day-to-day effect on all of you guys.
Running again.
Well, thank you very much, Eloise, for taking some of your time to come and talk to us, and very interesting to hear what got in store.
Well, I'm very proud to be part of the first ever Grange podcast for people who live at the Grange. So this is really exciting, and thank you for doing it all, and thank you to Scott for supporting you and making it happen.
Well, that's thank you very much for coming, and it's very good to try this out with you first.
Again, thank you very much.
Me, Tom and Sarah are very grateful that you have listened to our first podcast, and you have listened to a number of sound bites and event news and an interview with the CEO, Eloise. There will be another podcast coming soon.